Yep, I'm good.
Oh, there we go.
All right, we are live, and the New York Mets are the best team in New York, are soon to be the best wild card team in the National League, it seems, and are just fucking fun to watch. This entire season has been wacky from the start since Seymour Wiener was our fan of the game. Salute you, sir. And we are riding high. And this is why you keep podcasting through all the dark times, because everything is good. So when things are tough, you got to chill out and you got to drink your Coors Light. This episode and every episode has been presented by our friends at Coors Light. The Blue Mountains of Chill are what every Mets fan needs in their hearts, and boy, are we chilling right now. Not only that, but what is Coors Light talking now? They're talking about the perfect summer playlist. It may be elusive, but one thing is for sure, it gets better when it's enjoyed with a cold Coors Light, because music plus Coors Light equals chill amplified. And boys, I said it on the Instagram story yesterday. I'm going to say it again today. This is our summer playlist of today and the rest of the day. Old Blue Eyes himself with the Blue Mountains. So Coors Light is the only choice when you're ready to choose chill. When the mountains turn blue, it's as cold as the Rockies. Obviously, we're drinking our Coors Lights during all these Mets games, and it goes down so nice and cold, just like these W's over those cold-hearted bastards in the Bronx. So amplify your chill this summer with Coors Light. Choose chill, choose Coors Light. Go to CoorsLight.com/believe to see how Coors Light can amplify your summer, and be sure to keep an eye out on Coors Light social handles all summer long for more exciting announcements. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And let me just start off the podcast by saying, welcome back, Kevin. You're back.
I'm back, baby! It's like getting to live a Disney movie. It's like living out one of those baseball movies. It's fucking, I can't believe it, dude. It's insane. I was thinking about it today. It was like, how boring for all the teams who have been good from the beginning of this season. You're just expected to win, and you are. Ugh. You've been in first place the whole time. Couldn't be my team. This is, straight out of Disney, straight out of the storybooks. Unbelievable that it's not only like I don't want to be here. I can't do it again. But it's the feeling in you. You cancel when you feel it. You rope back in when you feel it. And I tried so hard to stay away. And it was like, you break up and your girlfriend is like, come on, let's get back together. And you're like, nope. And she's texting you like, can I come over? And you're like, no, stay away, you succubus. Stay away, you siren. I'm not doing that again. And then she keeps texting. She sends some pictures. And you're like, I don't know. And then you run into each other. And you're like, maybe. And you still keep your distance after all that. And then you finally break and get back together. And those first few weeks, everything's good. All your old problems, you're always worried about that. You're having sex. You're hooking up. You're partying. Everything is great. Now, inevitably, you get back into your toxic relationship and your heart is ripped out. You're mentally tortured and everything goes to shit. But for the summer, that's summer love. Oh, baby, we are back together. I'm in love again. We're getting married.
Like Sandy.
There are certain things like I was able to keep my distance when you're beating up the Nationals, you're fighting against the Marlins. You have a good series against some teams out west. Doesn't really matter. You give me a 4-game sweep, season sweep of the Yankees. You give me Jake Diekman striking out Aaron Judge. You give me a fucking, I don't even know what the final score was, 12-2 beatdown last night. Mr. Lindor, the Yankee killer. You give me all of that. I'm only a man who's flesh and blood. I can only resist so much. You know what I mean? So I am all the way back in. And Atlanta, coming for that ass. Forget the wild card. We're coming for Philly. Let's go. We got like 20 games left against Philly. We have like 16 games left or some shit. Let's fucking go.
That's what I like to hear.
Wow.
Kyle, how are we feeling right now on that side of Carolina?
Coming out of the break, not so hot out of the gates. Sure. I was like, oh shit, here we go again. It's a repeat of the start of the season. But I mean, these numbers are just ridiculous. They put up the graphic last night. We have 8 players with a plus 100 OPS. We have 8 players that are better than the league average. The Yankees have 2 with their 60 wins.
We know that from Severino. Severino is right. Only 2 good hitters.
Yep,
I don't even know what 2 they are, though.
Insane. We had 13 home runs this entire series stretch. They had 14 runs the entire series. Like, every single piece of this lineup that you were hoping it could be, minus McNeil, who is the hits god returned. If he's second half McNeil, the original McNeil, this lineup is complete top to bottom. This is the stuff that you're building. Is it a house of cards? I have no idea, but I'm gladly ready to stand back on it.
Is it Jeff McNeil's return, or is it Daniel Murphy reincarnated? Because the guy's fucking bombs at this point, too.
Even last night, he got robbed.
And had one at the warning track, too.
Yes.
The baseball is a weird sport where the first half, second half, for whatever reason, that all-star break can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And if, he comes out fresh and he's hitting, that was like the one gap in the lineup. Watch out.
And the bench depth, insane. Tyrone Taylor, everybody was pissed off at him 2 games ago. He comes out and he's playing like an all-star himself. I don't know where Stearns finds these guys, but I am drinking the Kool-Aid with this man.
There he is. There he is.
My God. My sub-God behind Steve Cohen. One of my guys.
We had Epler mode with the glasses. We need Stearns mode. Everybody put your quarter zips on.
We're different and more collars every single time we advance it.
Wow, he is the collar guy. He is definitely a collar guy for sure.
How you feeling? This has got to be. I mean, the Meek Mill household must just be sunshine and rainbows.
I mean, I think we should create a petition to replace the Marlins in the NL East with the Yankees because, I mean, we would probably just go 13. That's 13 free wins if we did that.
Dude, I mean, and watching the Yankees burn, I just love the Aaron Boone storyline. It doesn't matter. They weren't talking about Aaron Boone at all for the first couple months of the season. They had 60 wins. They're fucking all that disappeared. Nobody's talking about Cashman. No one's talking about Boone. And then they plummet and they go right back to it as if that's what really is the problem. The problem is that your lineup fucking sucks. The problem is that Garrett Cole just wilts like a little baby flower every time he pitches against the Mets. That's your problem. But I love stirring the pot. Just knowing that for whatever reason, and I get it because it represents like firing your manager, it doesn't change things, but it changes things, and especially for the fans where it's like we need somebody to do something because we're in a free fall, and your heads have to roll. But knowing that it doesn't really matter, and I just like watching Hubs and Tommy be like, why won't they fire this guy? And I'm like, he's going to be there for as long as Judge is there, he's there. So buckle up for another 10 years, you loser.
He hit that home run 2003, and now you're stuck with him. That's what it is.
That was truly a monkey's paw or, one of those fucking Twilight Zone things. We gave you. You got 0-3. You won that series. Big moment, and now you have to suffer for, like, the rest of the decade because of it.
I've said this to Yankee fans for, 5 years now at the office, and I've thought this question for, 10 years now at this point. Would you trade that home run and all the joy that came out of that one moment to then lose in the World Series to the Marlins and then basically galvanize the Red Sox front office to be like, all right, you got to figure it the fuck out. Yeah. We have to trade Nomar at the deadline and we have to go all the fuck in to then. And then that also led to, Boone gets hurt, leads to A-Rod. It's just crazy how this all just played out. He's now the manager here. There's so many times you feel like they could have made the World Series and they just didn't. It comes down to it's bananas too. Seeing this stuff play out across town is so crazy as a Mets fan because we are the team that would have the manager that's been here for too long. The GM, I do not know how Brian Cashman is still eating on 2,000
for 40 years. It's crazy.
That's a problem because he's been there since George owned the team. So his son is like, I can't fire this guy. This is like my uncle. Like, how do I fire family? He's been at every event my entire life.
Also, though, it's like, I mean, I don't know. On the one hand, I think he's gotten you Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. On the other hand, that's where I think the real difference in GMs are. David Stearns just tinkering and playing and plugging and getting these scrubs and turning this scrub into playable and this playable guy into a star. That's real front office shit. That's real GM. Anybody can go get you Cole, Judge, and Soto, and then just hope for the best with J.D. Davis batting cleanup. Like, no fucking kidding, your lineup stinks. You have double Davis as your cleanup hitter. I mean, what are you doing while your window is still like maybe a smidge open? You don't think that you got to bolster the fuck out of that team with depth, like left and right? So on the one hand, like, I think if Brian Cashman got fired, he would be scooped up like tomorrow. But I also think that the Yankees just like have to do something different because they just keep doing the same fucking thing every year. And now, I mean, since it's really almost like chips in the night, I think almost like since the same date that the Mets took off, the Yankees are, I think, the second worst team behind the White Sox. Like
The Como stat.
Yeah, like a really long chunk of time that they are the second worst team in the sport. And, you know, it's crazy to have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. And Judge has like 40 home runs. And it's baseball, Susan. That's baseball.
Are they the New York Angels? It's Tungsten Armor Doyle going on over here every fucking day now, right? Aaron Judge putting up numbers not seen since Barry Bonds. Juan Soto having like one of the best contract pushes of all time, and they lose 7-3.
And then they act surprised when no one wants to pitch to Aaron Judge. You're like, oh, here's Aaron Judge coming up to the plate.
Why would you?
Oh, he's not going to see a strike. J.D. Davis is on deck.
They're banking on the return of Giancarlo Stanton and him staying healthy to be like, oh, now we have some protection for him. Like, if that's who you're banking on coming back, you got problems.
I also, at some point, wouldn't you just start flipping Judge and Soto, like trying something else out? Because it's just, this obviously, I mean, the Mets seem to be the only team who cracked the case of Aaron Judge. Here, I'm going to give the playbook to the rest of Major League Baseball. If Aaron Judge is up, you walk him. And if he's up and you really don't want to walk him, you strike him out. That's it. That's the playbook. So I don't know. If JT can do it, literally anybody can do it. So, figure it out, baseball. But for real, I mean, I walk that guy every fucking single time if I could. That moment was – where do you rank that moment? Like, as far as in the past few years, maybe even all time. Like, I think I will think about Jake Diekman striking out Aaron Judge in the bottom of the ninth in the Subway Series. It sounds pathetic because it's just a regular July game. But, like, that was one of those moments, the Trevor May bomb that he gave up a couple years ago. What was the one this year? There was one this year where we knew it was just going to be a fucking cock shot.
Grand slam.
Loaded.
Yep.
Yes, that one was like guaranteed. And I was like, we all know where this is happening, where this is going. And then to strike it out looking, that's got to just be like, Diekman just snuck one by him. Judge never thought in a million years he was going to throw him another strike. And it just, I mean, like had he swung, it would have gone to the moon. He just caught him slipping. What a moment, though.
First pitch of that bat was down the fucking middle, and Aaron Judge took it. He was too surprised.
That was where I think Judge thought there's no way he's going to even give me any. And I don't blame him because they walked him 500 times in a row. So he's thinking like, I'm not going to swing here. But that was a meatball, dude. So shout out to Diekman for having the nuts to throw that. I think it's more reckless than it is like savvy because he's Jake fucking Diekman. But hey, proof's in the pudding.
I want to tell myself, Mendoza goes, listen, man, I want on the Soto at bat. We're gonna walk. We were gonna walk one of these guys. We're gonna walk Soto. I want you to look so wild those 4 pitches that Judge, there's no way he's taking it, and then throw that one right down the middle, and then just nibble and do whatever you can. And I'm telling you, if Aaron Judge swung at that first pitch, it wouldn't have been a home run. The ball just would have disappeared. It would have just like not even knocked the guts out of Benny the Jet Style. It just would have just vanished, just exploded, and it would be gone. And I guess you have to give the guy a home run when he does that. That's what would have happened if Aaron Judge swung, but he didn't. And I'm telling you, I don't watch the Yankees. I don't have the hatred and like the obsession with them because they honestly don't really matter anymore. But like I just don't understand.
By the way, I still have hatred and obsession, and I will forever, and I love every second of it.
I don't follow them enough, and I see the numbers, but the Judge slander that I'm seeing from Yankees fans, I guess he doesn't come through in the clutch a lot. Is that true?
Is like every single one of his 35 home runs on July 27th. They all don't matter, guys. I mean, at some point, I mean, they did. You know what they did with A-Rod too, though. So it doesn't surprise me that those Neanderthal meathead Gindaloon Goombas can't understand baseball and how you can only hit when you're up. They did it with A-Rod his whole career, though. No home runs from A-Rod ever mattered, even though he carried them to a World Series, and they're doing it to Judge again.
Yep. I have to ask this.
By the way, you mentioned his name. I at least I think a lot of us, but I for sure owe Carlos Mendoza a big fat apology because that dude It seemed like he was pushing all the wrong buttons in the beginning. Seemed like he was in over his head. And now he seems to be pushing every right button. I got to apologize to him. I got to apologize to Mark Vientos. I was way down on him, and that motherfucker is a gangster. Anybody else?
So we said this last week.
The entire pitching staff. The entire pitching staff.
The entire pitching staff. Me and Phil said Vientos shoved it up our ass. And you kind of need this sometimes as a fan where you have such an opinion on a player. And a lot of times you're just proven right. You're like, this guy stinks. He stinks. He's still in the lineup. He stinks. And then when he's gone, you celebrate. Vientos, we were hating on him. The Instagram comment didn't help. But he has proven us all wrong. And I'll just like hand up dead fucking wrong on him.
Absolutely.
So,
and like, that's thank God. I mean, unfortunately, we're wrong in the other direction about every fucking prospect this team has ever brought up, So it's nice to be wrong in the right direction for a change. And I just feel so bad for Brett Baty, who's just sitting in it, the fucking Babe Ruth of the minors, just going like, if I could just put up a little bit better in numbers, I would have been there for this ride. And instead, you are fucked, bro.
I don't even know if he'd be on this ride if he was here, though, because he didn't come through anytime you needed him. Even if he had sprinkled in some home runs here and there or some big hits here and there. Like Vientos, when you're trying to add on late in the game, he always seems to be hitting the ball and putting it in play.
You know how I love my insurance runs. I need a stat. I need a stat on how many runs the Mets have scored in the past few weeks in late innings already with a lead. I feel like every game we're putting up late inning runs to tack onto our lead. And there's nothing more important for real as a Mets fan, there is nothing more important in your life than insurance runs, because a 2-run lead, even a 3-run lead ain't enough in this world. And as much as I'm riding high, this bullpen still scares me. The fact that they won that game on a day where no relievers were available, nobody, like we're not pitching anybody who's good. The fact that Adam Ottavino's getting outs, I mean, there's still
he got a out. He got one out. He still sucks.
There still is a lot that scares me. Like, even the rotation, which has been great, I'm still like, if you're in a 7-game series, this rotation is pretty fucking thin. But I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm back in the relationship. I'm not gonna nitpick the little things. We're just fucking and hanging out. I'm not even going to bring up any of the negatives today, baby.
If the Mets ever let you down in a big spot the rest of the season, you have to be like Dante from Clerks. I'm not even supposed to be here today. Like I was out of this. I'm not supposed to be here. And it's just like,
dude, I swear to God, this hat has been like it's almost, my hat is like the Jumanji board. Like my kids got me the Father's Day hat. They've done it every year. In the last couple of years, it was fun, especially in 2022. It was like this funny thing that I wore. And then this year I got it, and it's particularly heinous and the largest they've ever bought me. And I just kind of threw it. I threw it on a shelf, like next to my TV. And it was honestly like it was eyeing me up. Like every time I was watching the game, it was like, put me on, put the hat on, come wear me. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And then I honestly put it on like fucking Iron Man suit. I was like, I'm back. It's the most heinous of all. And honestly, it's like, you're good.
It's like in Spider-Man where he's staring down the goblin helmet and he's like, you need us.
Yes, that's exactly it. And when I'm crying my eyes out again in October, hopefully, God willing, I'll remember this moment. But for right now, tip of the cap, baby.
I have to also check in on noted Mets fan and even more noted Yankees hater, Mama Clancy. What is her temperature after the last 2 days?
So she was very much with me being like, I'm not going to do it. She just moved to a new house. We've had these apartments in the Bronx for 45 years now. So she moved out and she's very like homesick and like, just not, she's getting in this new space and she's like, I'm sitting in this new house and the evenings are long. Like from 7 to 10, it's a long time and I don't have much to do anymore. And I'm in this new space. And I was like, just watch Mets baseball, man. So she's gotten dragged back in as well. But she's like,
great thing.
Yeah, I know.
I'll try some heroin here. See how that.
Yeah, I almost feel bad. Like, take a hit of this, Ma. Tie off one time. But she's back. She takes the Yankees series much more as a
work?
like yes, like work and war. Like Like if we lose, it's the end of the world, and if we win, she's just kind of like, phew, she's not like rubbing it in their face. She's just like, thank God we didn't lose. So she's just happy that, but when it's a 4-game sweep and an absolute beatdown and the Yankees low water mark and all this shit, you gotta ride this moment. I was walking into the office and I saw a dude. He had a Mets hat on, Mets shirt on, orange foam posits on. He was like, I'm wearing my blue and orange outfit today. And we crossed paths and I just dapped him up. I said, what a season, huh? And he was like, hell yeah, sir. I mean, it's like, we always talk about it. There's 2 phrases that get thrown around. It's which team owns the city, and congrats on your World Series. And Rich McLeod said it best last night. Yankee fans saying congrats on your World Series to Mets fans who get excited for winning regular season series is the Yankees World Series. That's all they've got. That's all they've got now. And so, I mean, that's got to be the lowest thing for all Yankee fans. I'm watching Tommy Smokes. I'm watching Hubs. They are just beside themselves. And that's as satisfying as the Mets run is for me. I watch the Mets and I watch the Yankees suffer and I soak it all in. And it's like I'm building up my power. I cannot believe this season has turned out this way. Remember how we were talking about, like, what are we going to do with this podcast, man? Like, what are we going to do every week? How are we going to do this? And now it's like, I would say the most interesting team in baseball. Like, no one else is really. Are there any other good story? Orioles are good. Like, nobody else has like a story, right?
No, nobody has a pop star who's mic'd up, gets a double play, and then sings his song that is currently released.
That's so sick, dude. I can't believe it. Right? Like, I mean, there's good teams. Obviously, the Phillies have been awesome. The Orioles taking out the Yankees have been
The
cool.
Astros erased a 10-game lead in AL West in like 23 games, but they're the
But no
Astros.
one's ever surprised when it's the Astros.
No.
No
Yeah,
surprise.
that is big. But I mean, but as far as like, we know I said this to Feidelberg on KFC Radio, like the baseball's about like wins and losses, but it's about the storylines and the phrases, the songs, the mottos, all that shit. And the Mets have that in spades, man. They are unbelievable to watch right now.
You brought up the Yankees fans and, the Mets hat you saw. I had to just point this one out because I honestly, there was no moment that felt more Yankee fanish to me than Spike Lee's hat. Did you see Spike Lee's hat?
Oh, what a fucking asshole, man. Since when? I mean, that hat is disgusting.
Why? Like, honestly, listen, hey, Yankees, the Yankees have been a museum franchise. They're the fucking greatest winners, yada, yada, yada. In the year 2024, I don't think you can wear a hat that says 27 rings unless you're doing it ironically. It says 27, and then on the hat, for the people who can't see, it has all the years they won the World Series. And then in the other side of the NY symbol, it says 2009. That was 15 years ago, Spike. That's your
Celtics fans weren't. It's
Celtics fans weren't celebrating all their titles. Celtics fans weren't
Nice.
celebrating all their titles, and then they won this year. Like, finally, we got the new banner. Their last championship came around the same time the Yankees won their last championship. But there's 2 different, I guess, expectation levels between those fan bases. I don't know what to say, but that's fucking putrid. Who, by the way, used to be a Mets fan, Spike Lee. Keep him.
I know. I was gonna say, since when is he Mr. fucking Yankee like this? I didn't like all this powwow, by the way, and it broke my fucking soul seeing Jalen Brunson. I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen. I'm just gonna Men in Black myself on that one. That whole thing, no sir. When I saw him taking pictures with Lindor, I was like, oh my God, like my guys. And then I realized he was, there with the Yankees, throwing out the pitch, and he was standing there for
the jersey on.
Yeah, the jersey. That's. I'm gonna have that scrubbed from the internet like Beyonce.
Do you see what they got coming up in 2 weeks? My sweet Eli as a bobblehead as in a Yankees jersey. So that's what they're doing. They've reached a point where they can't market their own players because, again, other than the 2 guys in the lineup, they fucking stink. So they're just taking all the other New York's beloved sports figures and just putting them in
riding them. You know what's coming up too? Italian Heritage Night at Yankee Stadium.
Otherwise known as a typical Thursday.
That's what I said. I was like, isn't it every fucking night? I don't even know what you do to juice up the Guido-ness of Yankee Stadium, but I'm going to steer clear of 161st Street because I think the stadium might like explode into like a olive oil bomb or something like that. Just like mozzarella flying all over the streets.
Kev, I kindly ask this as a friend and as a fan. crack those old.
Oh yeah, I'm watching.
That's gonna have to be a blog. The Yankee Stadium Italian Heritage Night.
Oh
recap.
my God, I'm gonna be filming my screen all game long, dude. They're gonna be disgusting. Oh, crazy, dude.
More
What
Yankee
a
stuff. Juan Soto just having fun with Alvarez after his home run. I'm convinced he just said, Alvarez goes, you've been saying another $5 million from Uncle Stevie with that hit right there. I think this is going to be the Juan Soto recruiting phase for the Mets fans the next 2 months, right? If we keep winning.
I mean, I really thought, and I still think, like, the Yankees, as much as they're not the Yankees anymore, if they just get, like, outbid for Juan Soto, they're truly dead as a franchise. So I don't think anybody will beat the money unless Cohen just keeps like going like one up. But it's just a matter of if Soto wants to still be there. You know what I mean? Like I
think he'll get like a short porch discount.
Yeah, that's
like he is mashing there.
Right. But also, if I was Juan Soto, I'd be like, I don't need a fucking short porch. I'm Juan Soto. You know, it's like
no, but that's like if Harper had gone there, same situation. Like, you need a big lefty bat in the Yankees lineup, and for whatever the reason, they haven't had one for a while, and now you have Soto, and it's like that's what we've been missing. We have to go find pieces around him. At the same time, if you're going to leverage your entire payroll and just pay those two guys that you know it's not going to win, then they're Ohtani and Trout out in Los Angeles. I'm all for that too.
Yeah, you just kind of like. Juan Soto just like doesn't exist anymore. You play him a couple times a year. He's no longer in the NL East, and he's not on a good enough team to like run into in the playoffs or rip your heart out as a Mets fan. That would be cool too. I just they're so stupid because they're like still halfway being the 90s and 2000s Yankees with the Cole contract and the Giancarlo Mike Stanton contract and these guys' contracts, and they haven't adapted to like. The Stearns, there's so many. I think baseball kind of like caught up. The NBA did where it's like you have your superstars, but then there's also just like a lot of really good middle of the road talent, and you got to know how to find them. And if you're not doing that, and you're not going all in with money, you're just in no man's land. And I can't believe they haven't figured that out yet. So yeah, I would. It's like obvious best case scenario would be he wants to come cross town. If not. Stay put might even be better than going anywhere else.
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of a guy we already have here, I just had to shout out these three stats I saw online. Number one at OptaStats tonight, which last night, Wednesday, July 24th, Francisco Lindor became the fourth major leaguer to have 4+ 2020 seasons and with multiple Gold Gloves as an infielder. The others are Jimmy Rollins, Alex Rodriguez, and Joe Morgan. So 3 great players and a guy who I guess isn't even good according to the fan base. So that's one. Number 2, Anthony DeComo. Here is the complete list of MLB players with at least 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases since the start of last season. Francisco Lindor. That's it. That's the list. And then I had to update these myself. I just had to say for shits and giggles, I saw video of Lindor hitting some bombs, like his hits against the Yankees. Francisco Lindor's career against the New York Yankees as a Met. He's 24 for 69 in 18 games. So it's a 348 average, 6 home runs, 17 runs, 16 RBIs in 18 games.
Like, what do you guys have
to love this guy?
Like,
hit in April. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like the checklist for being the most beloved player on the Mets, and he's like the most disrespected player I've ever seen. What can he do other than like he has to win you a World Series? He's beating the Yankees. He's playing every single game. Great shortstop glove. He's going to be 30-30 this year. He's like, if it wasn't for Ohtani's, like, I'm sure end of the year absurd numbers, I legitimately think he would be the MVP. And
it's him, Harper, and Ohtani.
Yeah. And you spend, and so even if he doesn't win it, like, that's the company he keeps. We're going to talk about him as, a second or third place MVP vote getter. And, you're complaining that his bat is bad or that he starts off slow. Who fucking cares, man? The guy gets there when it matters. He beats the team that you have to beat the most. He's so durable. And he is like the one thing I thought that he didn't really have a couple years ago, I think he has become like a leader. I think in the beginning he really wasn't. I think it was weird with, guys like Scherzer on the team and a lot of elder statesmen. And now I think he's kind of like taking control of that team and is like, I mean, you watch him do the little high five with his daughter. He's a family man. I mean, it's like, what is not to like about this guy? And he still just smiles through it all while you assholes sling shit at him all day long. You should be so lucky. Those fans should be like, the Lindor should be like banned from like ever like celebrating him. It's like you had your fucking chance. You know what I mean? It was right there staring you in the face and you fucking blew it.
You sent a thing to the group. Should we put the Francisco Lindor is good shirts and the hair shirts? I say we do it and we put it on to like Sunday and then they're done. They're gone for good. Get them now. You can't go back on the bandwagon if you hit another home run against the Yankees next year. It's now or never. Get on the ship. The ship is sailing in fucking beautiful temperatures. It's just no one.
Oh, it's been crazy. In the beginning of the season, the ship had like, there was a couple storms, a couple waves, and everyone freaked the fuck out. The ship has been a beautiful yacht basically since the fucking beginning, and these people couldn't recognize it. And you know what's so nice to have a Yankee killer? Like, there's just been so many Met killers over the years. It's nice to have one of our own on the good guys side. We
really have two because Alonso crushes them too. He's tied with David Wright for the most home runs against the Yankees as a Met, and in less than half the games. It's like before going into this last series, it was like he hits one every like 8 at bats against the Yankees. That's how many he's had. Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Pete's in a weird spot. You know that the people got upset about the home run derby are like such fucking losers. But you know, has not been a great contract season. But whatever, man. Everybody's doing what they need to do right now to be like the biggest, storybook team in baseball right now. Now's not the time to even get upset about anybody. But so now, I mean, now you're full blown buyers. We were wondering, that was kind of the big debate a few weeks ago. Now it's like, you're a buyer. So now it's time to get excited about potentially grabbing. I mean, I don't know who's really out there. What's the market this year?
We'll do the deadline after. So we're going to have our deadline talk. We're going to have Phil cook a little bit as well, since he knows players who aren't on the Mets, and I basically don't pay attention to that anymore. That is presented by our friends at DraftKings, because DraftKings helps you get inundated with the entire world of baseball. Know what summer means to me? Beaches, BBQs, and baseball. So after you check out today's pitching matchups, head over to DraftKings Sportsbooks and get in on all of today's action from the first pitch on the East until the final out west. DraftKings has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's that simple. I'm looking at DraftKings right now. Tonight, we have the New York Metropolitans against the Braves. 4-game series, kind of a big deal. Two top teams in the NL wildcard race. Mets are minus 105 money line with Severino on the mound. Braves got Sale on the bump, minus 115. So very, very interesting game. If you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BELIEVE. That's code BELIEVE for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. And my guy, Meek Phil, the floor is yours. Tell us, Meek, trade deadline. And for the folks at home, I didn't realize this until yesterday. July 30th, 6 p.m. is the trade deadline this year. So it's a day early than, the old 31st deadline, and it's at 6 p.m. So what should we be hoping for? What are we thinking? What is the chatter out there? Because I don't know. I just feel like the deadline, there's not as much buzz with baseball moves as there was back in the day.
Because most baseball GMs are prospect clutching losers that just don't want to talk trades till like the deadline. Yeah. So that's basically
what a perfect description.
So I don't think we're gonna make we're not gonna get a big name. I think we're gonna get more like Phil Maton types, who has been really good since we got him. I think it's like one run, like 4 or 5 appearances, whatever it is. I don't know what arms they're gonna be targeting. Tanner Scott's like a top rental reliever in the market, but I don't know if he's gonna be a guy, or David Robertson. It's going to be two or three relievers that you're probably never even heard of. Maybe the guy.
Which is fine. That's what I want. I mean, I would also love a starter, but the bullpen is still the thing that scares the fucking shit out of me. Yeah, Senga. I mean, how the fuck the Mets have a guy every year that is our deadline acquisition who's already on the team? It's every single season we have a deadline acquisition who's already on the roster. But it kind of, I mean, getting Senga would be, and if he's good, would be fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like making a trade.
I still like the rotation is the last thing. The bullpen is whatever. Every bullpen has always scared the fuck out of me as a Mets fan. It just is what it is. I'm gonna clench my ass cheeks every single game. It's just how it goes. The rotation, Severino has really like won me over. The rest of the guys is like they're pitching well, but I'm just like still so skeptical because heading into this year, I thought they were just going to be so fucking bad that I feel like any moment they can pitch a clunker. But they've done well enough, right? Like, has it really been the offense saving them though? Like, where are we ranking?
Yes.
Are they that bad? Yeah.
Is like 6th in runs scored, like 4th in homers. Like the offense has just been carrying. The pitching staff, I think, was like 21st in ERA.
See, that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a problem because
they're going like 4 1/3 too, like 5 1/3, 4 1/3. That's what's killing.
So what really sucks about baseball is, and also what kind of makes it awesome. I hate the fact that it's 162 games, and I hate that it takes up the whole fucking year. But by the time you get there, you are a culmination of your whole season. So like, if your pitchers don't go, out of the 4th inning, your bullpen is taxed, everyone's tired. And by the time you make it to the playoffs, like you're going to get fucking shellacked. And that's why you really have to be a complete team that can play, for like 9 months of the year. But that is going to, again, if you're playing in a long series, your offense can't, mash you through all. I mean, I guess you can. Your offense can mash you through October. But if your bats go quiet at all, you are totally fucked.
Well, you have Jose Butto in the bullpen, who's looked great. But now you got Christian Scott going down. So, like, do you leave Butto in the bullpen as the long relief guy? Do you put him into that spot? They have some question marks there. And then Christian Scott is like Tommy John, and he's done until next season, or they're just going to try to push him through, which it seems like that's what they're doing. I don't see him coming back and, like, moving the needle.
If I was Christian Scott, I would not be risking my career, like, for this season with the Mets.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that works. I guess, is it ultimately up to the player, right, to, like, do what they want to do? But that to me is going to be a problem because Butto in the pen has been we need him. We need that.
If you get Tommy John now, you're all out all next year no matter what. So it does make somewhat sense to see, like, okay, can he come back at the end of the year, maybe a bullpen arm if he has anything left. It makes some level of sense. Like, you're not delaying like time. Like, if you got surgery, it's 2026 no matter what.
I see what you mean. I guess. I guess the thing is whether or not
we got to untax his arm. We got to stop taxing his arm so much. So this is a little outside the box, but like maybe to like reduce the innings on his arm, maybe he could learn to pitch lefty against lefties. Because listen, guys, he comes back, he still hasn't learned how to pitch to lefties. So I don't want that guy back and risking injury if he hasn't figured it. So we have to figure out fucking lefties, and lefty on lefty. Numbers wise, should be easier. I don't know how easy it is to learn how to throw like 95 miles per hour lefty if you're a righty, but maybe we can figure that out because I think
Billy Wagner did it.
Yeah, there we go. Let Billy.
Maybe we can get an outfield bat like Jesse Winker's a rental bat, Michael Conforto's a rental bat.
I would love Winker. If we threw Winker into this, if you bring Winker into this circus, oh my god, that would be unreal.
Maybe Jesse Winker, Dylan Floro trade. I think Andrew Claudio suggests that in the chat.
And also, we did get Jackie Bradley Jr. from the Ducks. The Ducks are a quadruple A ball club, so if he's hitting good numbers there, he's got to be better than DJ Stewart up here. So I think if they hit no moves at all, DJ Stewart's got to go, and we could just bring up Jackie Bradley Jr. At least you have someone who's fast.
I was at a point where I never wanted to see Jake Diekman and DJ Stewart ever again. Jake Diekman has earned himself, like, at least another couple months in my book, but DJ Stewart is tough out here, man. Oh, my God. It's not good. And it's just so amplified when everybody else is hitting. It's like, why can't you do it? Everyone else can, dude.
He's reached a point with like when Vogie was struggling and rough, where he just show him on TV, his face just gets bigger, the beard just gets scragglier, and I'm just like, I fucking hate you right now so much. So you always need a guy you could just put all your hate towards, and I guess the bullpen has a few of those guys as well, but he's going to take our arrows at least in the meantime.
I know the exact dugout shot you're talking about too, because the Mets were winning 11-2, and I was so happy, and I saw him in the background. I'm like, fuck that guy.
That was exactly it.
We're talking dugout shots. I know we moved on from the Yankees, but like at the end of the game, they were like, oh, at least all the Yankees players are there in the dugout in the ninth inning, down 10 runs. That's a good thing.
It's like, get the fuck out of here, man. Those guys are such losers. I love it.
The Boone stuff too, with all the Boone quotes, it's just tough. Also, I had a shout out.
Boone is like, he's like, I just love every like couple months when they're bad. He's like, I'm sick and tired of this shit, and it's like, he was just like, I'm gonna curse in my post game, and that'll fix everything. Fucking dork.
I had a shout out Diana. She's a great follow on Twitter, great Mets fan at Run Wild Keenan with the OMG.
Yeah, that was a great one. That was a great one.
Are you just thinking of Garrett Cole just losing his shit in the dugout, and it's in the Kermit voice though? He's like, God damn it, Mets! I can't get them out. Just,
exactly. And him giving up a home run to Pete Alonso when his little catchphrase is "for Pete's sake" is so fucking good. I love it. It's just like he's like your neighbor. You're like a teenage kid, and he's like your loser neighbor, and he like yells, he's like, God, just keep it down over there. God damn it. I'm trying to fucking read my book. And it's like, you suck, Mr. Cole. You're a fucking dork.
Hey, Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett. What a dork.
You fucking stink. So I guess programming note, like trade deadline next week. Maybe we'll do it. Like maybe we'll record on Wednesday instead of Thursday if that works for everyone. If it's like fresh off, if it's a level move, we'll do an emergency. We've had people asking for emergency pods. We said once we hit like 500 and are actually in a wild card race, we could potentially do emergencies. People wanted the emergency last night, but I think everyone had shit going on. I think we could potentially do that moving forward now if there's something massive that calls for an emergency pod. Barstool at the ballpark this Saturday. Mets Braves for, basically first place in the NL wild card. Pretty fucking sweet how that worked out, right? So check it out.
What are your predictions for this weekend? Because part of me really thinks, God damn it, I wish that we had this version of the Braves in 2022 because they're not like the world beaters they were. So let's fucking go, bring it on, and we'll end up in first place in the wild card by the end of the weekend. And the other part of me is like, wouldn't this just be the time where we just get fucking kicked right in the stomach and we're like, okay, never mind, back to earth, It's a 4-game set too, which like sucks dick. I hate 4-game sets because the difference with 3 games is like normal. You're used to it. I don't know. You lose the first game and you're like, all right, win tomorrow. And then the third game is kind of whatever. A 4-game set is like, oh my God, we're playing these guys for a week. Fuck,
What do you want me to say, Kev? Pain. That's what I always say when
okay.
If it was any other
I don't
team,
know. I was wondering where you're at. Maybe you're riding high and you're like, I think we're going to take 3 or 4. You think it's going to go good or bad?
I will say this. I feel so much better that it's in New York because I see the fucking, the House of Horrors, which somehow it was Turner. Then, like, for a few years, remember when we were just put in the Chop House on fucking, like, bombing that thing every single night in 22. But by the end of the season, the same shit ended up happening again when they just kicked the shit out of us. So I will say I feel better about New York. Fucking, I'm going to say 3 or 4. I'm the, glass half full guy. 86ers are looking pretty good right now, too. 86ers are looking pretty good right now.
Gets you into the show.
79ers are in trouble, or whatever I picked. I don't even know. But I'm happy. We're gonna lose that bet.
Yeah, I think we're gonna take 3 out of 4. Like Clem said, really? That's at home in Queens and not House of Dragons in Atlanta.
3 out of 4 is I'm just always. I'll take a split. I'll just sign for a split right now. But
the probables are Severino tonight, Senga tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
Tyler McGill on Saturday, and then David Peterson on Sunday. So we really just missed like every possible pitcher, but this would totally be the Tyler McGill who you don't expect anything from, and then he comes out and then gives you that little bit of hope where he's going to go like 6 scoreless, and you're like, oh shit, is this Tyler McGill? No, it's not. But
probably not.
That kid is back on the escalator again. When are you guys going to stop throwing Tyler McGill on the IL? He's going to get hurt. Why are you doing this to the poor man? Stop it.
At this point, it's like medically dangerous. Like, stop doing it.
I'm telling you, he was. I think it was Joe DeMeo said like he was an elite closer in college. Why are we like? At some point, they must have just had the cards reversed. It's like Seth Lugo should have been the starter. Gill should have been the fucking reliever.
It was like a clerical error. They were just like, whoops.
And Seth Lugo, who last I checked was second in Major League Baseball in ERA. Second.
No way.
Fucking league.
Get the fuck out.
My guy.
Good for him.
My guy.
Yeah, that's good. That's
So we'll be at Barstool the Ballpark on Saturday. Tickets, I think, are still on sale, so check that out. We'll be tailgating. We're going to hit the block party up, so say what's up if you guys are there. Drinking our Coors Lights, eating, drinking, and being as merry as the Mets allow us to be. And Mets Braves with fucking skin on the line. Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
You gotta believe.